Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today, we're going to be going over the new spell ideas that have been introduced by, I believe, Ratbeard over time, some things that we know are confirmed, and what implications they have for the game. But before that, make sure to go join my Discord server. It is pretty active over there, and this is one of the reasons why I did this video idea, because a few people requested me going over it, so I figured I would do that. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. So, for the last few weeks, we have been teased quite a little bit about these new spells that have different effects. We know that basically the idea behind them is they want to add a new complexity to combat. So right now we have blades, traps, weaknesses, shields, stuff like that adds a bit of a layer to combat. It's important to note, and from one of the biggest things about this is that each school has something that they are particularly good at. For example, Ice tends to shield, Myth tends to trap, Storm tends to blade, and when you combine this all together, you get a specific strength that every school has. What these spells are supposed to do, and what their idea is that they will counter that. Now, I would like to say this mainly is supposed to impact PvP, but I think there are quite a few PvE implications as well. So if you're a PvE player, trust me, you'll still be getting some use out of these spells. If not as frequent as PvP, definitely still going to be there. So let's get into it. So, spells that have been released so far, you can see we have Tranquility for life, which converts 3 negative wards on self into a heal over time on self. So this is a counter to death, because death will have a negative ward that prevents healing on a life wizard. What this will do is convert that into a heal over time. So what it's trying to do is convert their weaknesses into strengths. I think that honestly, these are really, really good and really, really clever ideas that will add a new layer to Wizard101 combat. Myth, you can see here, converts 3 positive wards, shields on opponent into negative wards, traps on opponent. We have Death, convert 3 heal over times on opponent into negative charms on opponent. This will convert heal over time, so something like regeneration used will be converted into 3 standard infections. This is really, really cool. Like, stuff like this is cool. I can't stress that enough. This will directly counter some bosses that have cheats where they either cast heals on themselves or cast blades on themselves. It will counter that and turn it into something else, and will, I imagine, be used quite a bit. One that I'm specifically interested in, Betrayal with Myths. Myth might actually have a big purpose in this coming update, specifically for PvE. And the reason for this is for bosses such as the one in Mirror Lake, you know, the one that spams the shield. For in Zafaria, what's his name? CC Snaketail? Something? I don't know. That guy. He spams a shield as well. What I imagine is this will work similarly to a Pierce or a Shatter, where it will remove it, and this will have the added benefit of adding a trap. So I think Myth is getting a lot out of this. We have countering heal over times. A lot of cheating bosses are suddenly going to have a new layer to them, and I really, really like these spells. And it's important to note these aren't even all of them. Now that we've gone over why I think it's cool, let's go over the basic theory of this. So we have the Rochambeau wheel, which is, I believe, used in Beast Moon a lot, but you can see that specifically each school is supposed to have an advantage over another one. The only one that doesn't is balance. And you can see fire beats ice, ice beats storm, storm beats fire, and it's a loop. It's rock, paper, scissors, basically. And same with death beating life, life beating myth, and myth beating death. You can kind of see here what this is going to do. So fire has damage over times, ice has shields, storm has blades, life has heal/heal over time, myth has traps, death has weaknesses, and balance has a manipulation of neutral resources, so pips, hang effects, all that. What this means is since fire has a boost on ice, we could see something like remove enemy shields and convert into some kind of damage over time. Or that's the basic theory behind it. I don't know exactly how it's going to be balanced yet, and I don't think anyone really does, but we can see that that is the basic logic behind it. I'm going to read this section in the meta because I think it is really, really cool and shows the implications a lot better than I can. The writers on this website, by the way, Final Bastion, are really, really good. So go read some articles there if you ever have a question about the game. It's where I get a lot of my information from. But I'll go through my thoughts and spells in the PvP while Cody will tackle PvE. First, though, I want to establish 3 main points. There's nothing to indicate that these spells will be school-locked. That is to say, we have no reason to think that a Storm Wizard couldn't train the myth spell Betrayal. This is an entire new system being introduced into the main game, and we can't assume anything about it yet. Given what I know about Ratbeard's philosophy, I am personally thinking these spells will not be school-locked and will not be available as treasure cards. If these spells aren't school locked, they would absolutely be viable to use without a mastery amulet. At 3 pips, they're not about as high as you'd want to go without a mastery. If you get good value though, they'd be absolutely worth it in PvE and potentially PvE. There is almost certainly a greater context to these spells than what we've seen. Going back to the name Oni's Attrition, we can see that Ratbeard & Co. have added a monster's name to a utility spell. This would be strange unless it has something to do with an Oni. Perhaps there's a specific boss fight or another spell with which this spell is meant to be used in combination. These spells will be used quite a bit in my eyes. They will be counters to things like boss cheats. In PvP, they will be hard counters to other schools. And most importantly is that they can be used by any school. I've mentioned in the past I don't like mastery amulets, and these spells are definitely worth it to use without a mastery amulet, specifically on cheats. 3 pips isn't bad at all. This would be 3 power pips, which is just waiting a normal round in a fight. I think this could be really, really cool. And the final point, these either are going to be related to something maybe in Beast Moon with the Oni thing, or the new world is going to be directly related to these, and we're going to learn these. So that's really it for today. I want to go over these, go over the different effects, what implications I think they might have. Overall, and ultimately what I wanted to get out of this video was that the new spells will be used in PvE and PvP. They won't just be restricted to only PvP, and I think they will have massive effects. Hopefully this gave you a basic understanding of them. I'm sorry if it wasn't too in-depth. I'm sure that there are more in-depth videos if you want to go check those out, but this is giving a broad overview of it. So, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like at the sub button. Make sure to go join my Discord server and support me on Patreon if you want to support me financially. Otherwise, that's it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Adios.